Steel pushes against gravity, daring it to win. Every second feels like it could spiral into chaos, yet somehow order holds. Machines roll into the forest, blades down, tracks digging, and the sound of hydraulics fills the air. Out here, the difference between disaster and mastery comes down to the operator's nerve. Precision rules. Courage carries the rest. One mistake and everything falls apart. One perfect move and the impossible becomes ordinary. In this world of steel giants, nothing is guaranteed. Every move matters. The Komatsu D575, recognized across the globe as the largest bulldozer ever built, is not just a machine. It is a force of nature given steel form. With over 1,150 horsepower under its hood, it crushes rock and slices through soil as if tearing through paper. When it moves forward, it does not simply scrape earth, it shifts mountains. Every pass of its enormous blade is an act of domination, reshaping landscapes with a mix of brute strength and uncanny precision. Operators describe it as driving thunder itself, unyielding, unstoppable, and merciless. This bulldozer defines what heavy in heavy equipment really means. The ground trembles with its every command. Heat radiates across job sites where the B11-800N roars to life. Powered by a Shantui SD16 engine and matched with a robust transmission, this machine proves itself under punishing conditions. On sandy terrain, it presses forward with relentless pushing force. Its hemispherical blade, enhanced with corner knives, channels soil like water, improving flow and easing stress on dump truck locks waiting nearby. Small modifications make large differences. The payoff is efficiency, strength, and reliability where failure is never an option. In landscapes where the sun beats down without mercy, this dozer answers with steel resilience. Yet not every scene is pure power. Sometimes it is about survival. What began as a routine Saturday turned into a fight against despair. A sprayer and a Kobylko excavator, trusted machines, had sunk deep into the sucking grip of mud. At first glance, the situation looked hopeless, steel titans swallowed by the earth itself. But help arrived. Three excavators converged, their operators working like one mind. Track mats were laid carefully, every move timed, every pull measured. Slowly, inch by inch, teamwork turned disaster into triumph.
Good God, that's a big rock.
Against the mud's hold, machines pulled together until one by one, every stranded vehicle was freed. In the silence that followed, applause broke out, not for victory over mud, but for proof that unity still matters in a world of machines. Demolition tells another story. When the Liebherr R960, fitted with massive demolition shears, took on an old concrete silo, it wasn't brute destruction, it was poetry. Every bite of the shears stripped away years of history, every crack echoing decades of use and service now ending. Concrete crumbled like tree bark peeling from a trunk, layer by layer. Dust clouded the air as decades dissolved before watchful eyes. It was not only about tearing down, it was about letting go. Precision guided every movement. This was demolition as art, slow, deliberate, almost respectful, one bite at a time. But sometimes nature swallows back. A dear bulldozer, once steady and strong, sank helplessly into a mud pit, trapped as the ground consumed it whole. A cat excavator rolled in, engines growling like a predator circling prey. With steel arms and hydraulic strength, it hooked onto the sinking dozer. Each pull was a gamble. Tension rose in the air, one wrong angle, and both machines could tip into ruin. Every second stretched long as cables groaned. Then, inch by inch, the deer lifted free, dragged from the mire. Relief spread across the crew, a reminder that even titans need rescuing, and only bigger titans can answer the call. Nice challenges twist differently. The Menzi Muck 91 4x4 Plus Spider excavator waddled onto a frozen plain with its odd-legged stance. Gravity and slick ice fought it at every step. Designed for dredging and fragile missions, it was never meant to look graceful. Yet there it went, slipping, splashing, catching itself again and again. It was like watching a child learning to walk on a stage of danger. Awkward, yes, but undeniably captivating. Each stumble proved resilience. Each recovery drew applause. Machines don't always need to be flawless, they just need to endure. Beneath the sea, another spectacle unfolds. An underwater excavator, armored and engineered, clawed its way across the ocean floor. Its bucket raked through sand with a surgeon's precision, tearing into a world where humans could never breathe. Down here, pressure crushes bone, darkness swallows light, and logic bends. Yet this machine operated unfazed. Every stroke of its arm was an act of defiance against nature itself. Watching it glide through the deep wasn't science fiction. It was reality. Steel, hydraulics, and invention daring the impossible. Elsewhere on forgotten rural roads, a dozer worked in silence. No drones filmed it, no flashy edits glorified the moment. Just steel pressing into soil, carving tracks through isolation. The operator's eyes traced slopes, soil shifts, and water lines. Each meter gained felt like a personal victory. These were not glamorous jobs. They were survival paths, connections carved where isolation threatened to cut off lives. It was hard, raw, and honest. Every cut mattered. Every push meant progress. The Cat D7R Bulldozer, a beast of precision and brute strength, prowled near the forest edge, tackling farmland where cliffs dared operators to falter. It ripped through dense undergrowth, throwing bushes aside with ease, carving order out of wilderness. Watching it near the cliff edge was dramatic, almost theatrical, the kind of sight that leaves your heart tight. Here was proof that power, when directed by skill, is breathtaking to witness. Machines like the D7R are not simply tools. They are extensions of human will, bending the land to purpose. Across the snow, the DT-74 rolled forward. A relic of Soviet engineering, it lacked comfort, lacked polish, but it lacked nothing in spirit. Its engine roared like thunder, echoing through frozen woods. Tracks clawed at snowdrifts, the machine pushing ahead with stubborn confidence. Operators didn't drive it so much as endure it. Yet its reliability, its refusal to quit, turned it from a cold relic into a trusted companion. It rattled bones, but it never betrayed its driver. Tough, rough, and somehow endearing, this was character forged from steel. Stone met claw as the SY-485 excavator ripped into rock. Its ripper attachment carved deep, sending plumes of dust into the sky. Rock shattered where the machine struck. Layers of solid ground peeled back into workable earth. The LKT-81 turbo skidder, born in 1990, demonstrated why old designs still command respect. Hauling logs across snow and mud, its tracks leaned, slipped, then found grip again. It dragged weight like an ox, never flinching, never faltering. Decades had weathered its steel, but mastery lay in its handling. Precision combined with torque proved that craftsmanship does not age, it endures. The Liber PR-764 rolled into view, a 52-ton giant Poolsing with 422 horsepower from a V8 Hart. With every move, its blade devoured 14 cubic meters of earth in one bite. Designed for mining's brutality, it resembled a war machine, armored and unstoppable. Power and precision fused in a spectacle of dominance. When this bulldozer moved, ground control wasn't a goal, it was a certainty. Watching it was like watching a warlord stride across the battlefield, unchallenged. And so the stories continue. Rescues in swamps, machines defying icy slopes, monsters crossing rivers, excavators balancing on makeshift log bridges, and loaders so massive their buckets could swallow houses. Each tale blends suspense with awe, risk with victory. Each shows that these machines are not just tools. They are extensions of humanity's will to push forward, conquer obstacles, and create paths where none exist. From the Komatsu WA-12000, a 250-ton wheel loader swallowing yards of earth at a time, to the old K-700 tearing soil with Soviet-era force, every machine has its moment of glory. They tip, they sink, they slip. They also rise, rescue, and redefine possibility. Whether clawing through avalanches in remote gorges, floating across rivers on improbable chassis, or pulling comrades from swamps with a single rope, these machines embody more than mechanics. They embody resilience. They remind us that even when the earth resists, steel answers. And behind every lever, every decision, there is a human hand, steady or trembling, guiding these titans through danger into triumph.